Hello everybody, it is Ebontis, and in this video I want to talk about the Arc Raiders skill tree. Now, I covered before in a couple different things that leveling up is what's going to get you experience when it comes to leveling. Make sure you scavenge everything, like absolutely everything, even if it's open, closed. If you breach things, you get more. Some of the Arc stuff is really good for experience. Level 75 is your cap, so you're going to have a lot of points to distribute, but you definitely can't get everything. Now, when it comes to the skill tree, it is honestly completely your opinion, so if you think what I've got here is a load of crap, or maybe you find this 6 months later and some of this information is outdated. I am 3 months removed from the game, actually, or 3 days removed from the game coming out, so again, a little early, but having spent, like 30 hours plus playing 20 in the tests and everything like that, I've got a feel for what's going to be useful. And then hopefully in time they balance these things out so on future expeditions and character resets, the skill tree is a bit more useful. But to get started, one of the most important things is stamina. Quite a few people have mentioned that, and it is really correct. Because moving around costing less stamina, and specifically just maxing out your stamina, very, very early priority. Because you're going to use this everywhere you go. You have an objective that's halfway across the map. Well, if you holster your weapon, you're going to be able to run much farther. And also, moving costing less stamina makes everything more efficient on top of that. These two pair very well together, and you can have this maxed out by level 12. It's up to you if you want, but I think you get 2 points for your first one, and then every level after that's 1. So like level 12, level 13, 1 here to open the tree up, and then you can start putting a lot over here. Now, I didn't fully max these out. I did a couple other things while I went. Your preference, but again, these are going to be good. Somewhere while you're leveling this up, while these are in the 2 to 3 status is where I would consider this, coming over to survival and getting in-round crafting. Especially if you are a solo player or solo queuing, it's really important to have the option to craft something in match. The main reason is, as a solo player, I don't take like a full stack of heals and shield recharges in every time, because as a solo player, you tend to either survive something, maybe get through and heal yourself once, or just go down. There's not a whole lot of like constant healing and stuff like that. It usually is like, I'm good, I'm not great, or I'm dead. And usually the not great only tends to happen about once per round, because if I'm close and if I got stuff on me that I want to get out of there, then I just try and bail and extract. In-round crafting, if you're finding materials like fabric, or you take down an arc thing, you've got whatever you need to craft, it is really nice to be able to make a bandage, make a shield recharge in round from some basic materials. So 1 point here in Agile Croucher, which is something I do recommend like leveling up, but we'll get to that. 1 point over here for stamina regeneration while crouched is increased, and then in round crafting. Once you've got that unlocked, again, work on maxing out your stamina. Now, from there, I'm going to kind of go through some of the things that I find beneficial, kind of the path that you'll get through. Conditioning will do last, because I feel like more of this is in-game and not that beneficial, especially in the beginning. A little more situational, especially. So mobility is the first thing we're going to talk about. So moving around costing less stamina and max stamina, these are a must max them out. Before you can get to any of these middle nodes, you're going to need 15 points in that specific branch of the tree. So I need 15 points in here before I can even pick one of these two. So what do I want? Well, climbing and vaulting more quickly. This could be beneficial depending on the map you're on, things like that. I feel like it's one of those that I'm going to wait till later to feel like if I want to put points into it. But you got to put 1 in it to open the tree up, so you may as well do that. One thing that I do find beneficial, because there's a lot of inclines and places where you can use sliding, sliding further is important, because while you slide, you regenerate stamina. So if you're like sliding and running and sliding and running, you can actually kind of keep that stamina almost at the same space with a little slide dash, and run. You can go way more efficiently, like especially down a long hill, something like that. Faster as well means you're going to cover more ground, and your slides are just going to be more efficient as you go. So kind of a big win on both. Definitely one thing, as I'm working my mobility up to 15, I'm going to keep maxing this one out. Up here, you take less fall damage when falling from a non-lethal height. I've had some pretty good falls that have taken off like half my health. I mean, we're talking a few floors that I accidentally goofed on. Taking less damage would be nice. I've usually got a couple of bandages, so I don't know if this is going to be one that I need a lot of points in. A little less damage would be nice, but I don't know if this is worth maxing out, at least early on. Maybe depending on where your points, but the reason I would say you can put more in here, 1 point in here, is to be able to get up to these two. Both are actually going to be beneficial, and you just need 15 points in the tree, and then I would probably do like 16 and 17 in here. While walking, your stamina regenerates as if you are standing still. The fact that you can walk and get your stamina back that fast is going to be great if you've got a long distance to cover, because you're running and then you go back to walking and you're regenerating that stamina quickly. Means you can get back to that full sprint longer, and max stamina, you're going to be able to run longer. The other side of this is after a sprint dodge roll, you're in a bad situation. You go to run and you kind of do a dodge roll to get away, or maybe run from like say a hornet that's firing at you. Charges up, you do that sprint dodge roll. Sprinting does not consume stamina for a short time, has a cooldown so you can't do it constantly, but if in that moment maybe a rocketeer's coming after you, you do that sprint dodge roll, maybe you get tagged partially by the rocket, now you can go book it somewhere, especially for a little bit, without using stamina, and just try and holster that weapon and run, run your legs off, try and get to safety. Both of these are going to have some cool benefits. I honestly plan on getting them both. Above here, I'm going to swing left on the tree, because on the right side, wall leaping further. Now, this may be a thing that I haven't mastered yet. I will have to practice this, so I've still got some levels before I get up here. But if something massively changes, and wall leaps are amazing. Like, I'm picturing a wall leap as almost like you're hanging on a wall, not just like jumping between the rooftops or something. I got to figure out what this specifically means, so check the comments if I put something down there like wall leap is amazing. I'll let you know. But for the time being, wall leap further. When falling, now this one's not bad. If you put 1 point in here to get up to this, I can understand it. When falling, your timing window to perform the recovery roll and not take that like ankle breaking kind of stagger, the timing is really tight, and I've got to still kind of practice that myself. But I will say, having this wider, I can understand going for this one. This one's not bad. In the middle, when you're down, you crawl faster. If you're with a team and you play squads a lot, this is definitely going to have some benefit, because you're all going to get down, sometimes crawling faster. You'll eventually be able to like last longer if you go down that path. As a squad, that's beneficial. If I'm down and I'm solo, I'm pretty much screwed. So this has very little benefit for a solo, more benefit for a team for sure. So depending on if your team play, this could be okay. Vaulting is no longer slowed down while exhausted. If you're exhausted, and like this doesn't feel like this is going to be the thing that saves me. So this is kind of where it's like, yeah, I could probably pass. Come up here, lets you jump at the end of a vault. Again, I've got to do a little bit more of the parkour exploration in the game, but we'll see where this kind of comes into play. This side of the tree, I could use just, you could keep going up and max it out. Dodge roll costs less stamina. Literally nothing wrong with maxing this out at all. You can sprint dodge roll further. Could honestly save your butt if you're trying to get away from something, because I ran through a tunnel, like a drainage tunnel, dove to the side, and the explosion still tagged me from a rocketeer. This could have saved me in that moment. I didn't die from it, but I could have saved a lot of my health. So these two, yeah, I could see putting time into those. Vaulting no longer costs stamina. Again, I don't know if you need the full max out up here. You'll have to see. But I can find benefits to these two drastically. If you're in a team, I can see this being beneficial just if you're going down, trying to get picked up. And if you want to do the ready to roll, that one I could see too. But priority over here for mobility is these two, I would say. Next, we're going to look at survival, because this is kind of where I would say your priority for your points are going to go next. Movement speed while you're crouching. If you've ever been in an apartment building and every step you take seems to just make the most noise in the world, crouching around can be really huge if you're in those like PvP situations where you kind of are in a bit of a pickle, you need to try and wiggle a little bit. Moving faster while crouching could be really important. Overall, you're going to be crouched a lot when your sound is important to you. This is kind of one of the places, again, you got to have 15 to get up here, and this is just a 1 point option, so you've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 places to put 15 or 14 points, so you got to pick one of them. You're going to use this one quite a bit. Down here, the stamina regeneration while crouched is increased. I could see dumping a few points in here for sure, because you'll have one here, so we'll talk about that in a second, so that'll get you down this path, but you might not go full like 5 points here. What I would probably recommend is a good amount of points in Looter's Instincts, because having that loot revealed faster, especially if you're searching something kind of in an exposed space, the faster you can loot it, always the safer you're going to be, because that means you can get out of that screen quicker. So that one I think long term is going to be a really good benefit. Now, making less noise when looting. Making less noise when breaching, I fully understand if you want to put some points into that one. We'll get to that for conditioning. But when looting, that one I'm not really seeing much of a benefit here. So I would do like 1 point here just to get to the next tree. And honestly, you might go like 5 here, 5 here, one here, one here, one here. So you got 2 more points. Then I might do like 2 more in Revitalizing Scout. Then when you've got 15, you can get to your next tier. While under a healing effect, stamina regeneration is increased. That sounds reasonable. You heal, you get a little more stamina regeneration, could save you in, a tough spot. This one, while critically hurt, your movement makes less noise. Again, the movement making less noise when you're critically hurt, as a solo player, I feel like this is completely, like, moot. As a team, maybe in a tough PvP, standoff between somebody, but overall, I don't feel like this is worth it. The reason I would probably say is putting a point in here, because it is typically just 1 point to get through these trees. At least, maybe there's going to be more like these big nodes, but we'll have to see how it goes. But at least 1, because what's after it is probably more important. But if you're going to pick any of the 2, I would probably go here for good as new. Now, this bottom tree, I'm probably going to tell you mostly I think you can skip it, in my opinion. Your stamina regeneration is less affected by being over-encumbered. Honestly, just drop the item. Drop some item you're carrying is not worth it. If you're close to being over-encumbered, just, that's probably an easy one that's not going to take skill points, in my opinion. And then here, after an ability drains your stamina, dodge roll or sprint dodge roll or something, you recover more quickly. This would probably need some very specific frame-by-frame time testing to know how much this helps, like if a dodge roll, and then if you're walking, your stamina charges more quickly afterwards. Maybe, but overall, this is going to need testing, probably not a priority. And the main thing is up here, diffusing mines could be beneficial, but overall, this is so situational. This is like a whole path that you could probably skip and use your points elsewhere. The middle, this is one I'm going to tell you to get anyway, because we were talking about in-game crafting. Now we got more things that you can craft. I'm not there yet, but as I work up to it, I'll see what in-game in-field crafting can do at level 2 in this node. But being able to save your butt here is cool. If you can make some cooler stuff with this one, you may as well just have the option. So I think this is one you're eventually going to want to get either way. Middle tree, when looting raider containers. So like raider caches, stuff like that. You have the small chance of finding additional field crafted items. Field crafted items typically are going to be your survival stuff. So if you find a raiding container or something like that and you have more survival stuff, that may save your butt. Honestly, could give you that heal or shield recharge that you need. It's a small chance, but if you even get 1 point in here for just that little bit of a chance, every so often you might get something cool from it. Top tree is the one I would say that's why I would pass through here, is for this one. Maximum weight that you can carry, it's going to be important. Now, I don't know how much it is. We're not there yet, but any bit more weight you can carry is going to change which augment you want to bring with you as you go. And the main reason that's important is because maybe you want to go tactical, maybe you want to go combat augment, but you like that 50 weight capacity of the looting one. Well, if you do this, you've got more options when it comes to like which augment you bring with you, and then we'll talk about shields a little bit later. So I do recommend going for this one some point in your 75 points. I think this is going to be worth. And also, you pick up an extra weapon, you're starting to loot a whole bunch, you've cleared out like 2 whole buildings. I've been over encumbered even on the looting one at 50 pounds, so I still find a benefit to this, even if you do want to change up the augment. While looting, there's a chance to reveal twice as many items at once. Now, it could be a 1% chance, and this is still going to be awesome, because maybe you're looting a key room stash, and if that thing checks off twice as many things, you might get some amazing stuff out of there. So I do feel like having a chance at both of these is worth it, just because it's a chance is better than none, and every so often if that comes up, heck yeah. I don't know what the percent's going to be. It's probably going to be low, but still, some chance is better than 0. And if we're looking for points places, if you get this far into the tree, I can see those being pretty good. Breaching security lockers. There are just certain things you can't open unless you get to here. So this actually is probably, if you're going to get to an endpoint, this one has some benefit to it. So mobility is a priority, some survival, kind of get yourself to this tier. And then as you're working through survival with Agile Croucher and Loot Faster, that's probably where I would start. Then you can kind of get up to the 15s, see where you want to go from there. The dodge roll could be huge. This could easily be a priority, but it takes a little bit of points to get up there. Finally is conditioning. This is where I feel like these, not to put a pun in here, but these are conditional. So the conditioning nodes for me are less of a priority. Breaching making noise. As I said, it'd be nice if it made less noise, but it's not required. Now, if you were trying to breach a door quietly to, like, try and sneak up on somebody, that I could see as a benefit. But right now, at least the way the game's playing so far, I don't feel like this is going to be something that makes or breaks your game. Because the arc bots, aren't usually as worried about this type of stuff. The noise when breaching hasn't been as bad yet. Now, maybe they'll tweak things and this will be more important later, but for now, it's really not been too bad. Yeah, it feels like it makes all the noise in the world, but hasn't really been too detrimental. Breaching doors and containers takes less time. This I can actually see. If you're going to work your way through conditioning, I can actually see this being one place to put 5 of your points, because the time it takes on some of those efficiency there, that's not a bad idea. And you got to kind of work your way through to unlock these things. So if you're going to put your points somewhere, this isn't bad. So this one here at the beginning, you got to do 1 point to get into the tree. Wearing a shield doesn't slow you down as much. The medium shield is a 5% slowdown. The heavy shield is 15. I think the medium shield is going to be the sweet spot. You put a couple points in here, you probably won't notice the difference. The medium shield is going to allow you to take many more shots as well. I don't know how great the heavy shield is going to be. Maybe that's a thing that gets balanced later on. But the medium being 5 points, you don't need to put a lot in here to kind of keep things neutral, because it's not going to make the light one negative effects. It's just going to like make the other ones less. So overall, this one I don't think is as useful for points. But if you're looking for places to put points, it's kind of like trying to decide. When you're hurt in combat, regain a fixed amount of stamina. This is where I would put your other points. Like if you want to do, like if you want to have less weight, sure. If you got to do 15, I would do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like I would do 5 over here, and then like 1 here for your noise being less affected by explosions or your hearing. But this one, if you get hurt, you get a fixed amount of stamina back. That could be that thing where you're running away, you get tagged, but you can keep running, which might let you get to cover. This one I can see being hugely beneficial. But if you're playing smart, maybe you don't even need it. This is why I feel like the conditioning tree overall is more of a optional thing. Maybe a late game thing to kind of make yourself more efficient, but early on, not so much. So yeah, noise, maybe the shield weight, fight or flight for sure seems pretty good. When you're critically hurt, your stamina regenerates faster. Again, if you get tagged and you get stamina back faster, it may save your butt. So putting at least a point in here won't be too bad. Now, I don't know if these are all going to be like 5-point things either. We'll see when we get there. I need to get a few more points. If your shield breaks, your first dodge roll within a few seconds does not cost any stamina. And then after a sprint dodge roll, doesn't consume stamina for a short time. Those feel like they kind of work together, but you know, if all of that kind of combines together, you could have some efficiency going there. Overall, you're waiting for your shield to break, but if you get tagged by a Pharaoh shot by a player and your shield breaks, having no stamina from a dodge roll could be that thing that saves you if you were already low on stamina. And when you get out here, you've got some interesting stuff. Breaching an object generates resources. Not entirely sure what it's going to give you, but getting extra resources just by opening things you're going to be doing anyway. If you're working up the tree, that actually does seem pretty beneficial. Also, having your weapon have less encumbrance basically is more stuff that you can hold. Weapons in and of themselves are heavy. I haven't even got to the big LMGs yet. So if you're holding a heavy weapon and, you know, your encumbrance is up, this is going to start to combine to allow you to carry a lot more stuff, which will be really nice. Top tree, this whole melee tree for me is like, I know melees have a little bit of benefit here and there. Maybe there's a wasp that flies into a building floor on your level. So much stuff is far away, and otherwise I don't want to be trying to melee a leaper. So for me, meleeing drones, melees cost less stamina. You can actually single melee a turret or a wasp. That's like, it feels so situational. I'd rather just have fun shooting them. Just doesn't feel that beneficial so far. Down here at the bottom, when you're down, it takes longer before you collapse. When you're down, you take less damage. Both of those can be good. I would say more as a team, because if I'm downed as a solo, I'm not getting back up, most likely. But if you're a team, I can see where these two and this one specifically all pair very well together. So that could be kind of a long-term investment, I would say, in conditioning. Finally, up here, when you're critically hurt, you regenerate a certain amount of health. That actually I could see really nice, because if you get tagged and your health is low and some of it comes back, that can be a really good way to, for one, use less bandages to get back to health, maybe let you survive just that one situation that you might not have. I could see this one actually having some benefit too overall. So that's kind of the run through on skills where I would prioritize. Mobility, low survival first, the dodge rolls over here, get yourself some capacity. Conditioning feels very later in the like points priorities that you want to go for. Security breach feels like it's worthwhile. The minesweeper doesn't, the melee doesn't. I gotta see what the whole wall leap feature is. But like for me, the dodge roll is kind of big. If you're trying to get your points to get up here, you know, you can kind of pick what you want to do. That's a preference. But yeah, if I can get these, if I can work my way through a decent amount of the survival tree over here, then I'll probably working through here, get a couple points to unlock these, you know, having breaching more efficiency and then breaching getting more objects and having less encumbrance all the way out here. This path literally for me kind of goes straight down this line. So that's the skills, that's the priorities that I would go for. That's where I found the benefit from putting, like, you know, 50 hours between the playtests and now. And hopefully this helped you out. If it did, drop a like below, leave a comment. I've got tips for beginners, I've got advanced tips out there, videos already, and I've got more stuff coming as well. So stay tuned for more content. As I said, subscribe if you're enjoying the channel, you want to support the channel, drop a comment below. Leave comments as well if you have thoughts about any of these skills where you find something to be amazing and maybe I didn't give it enough light here in this video. Find me on Twitch, Twitter, wherever. If you find Ebontis, thanks for the support and thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.